Hey, Emma. You've been a mom for a while now. How's everything going?
Oh, Sarah. Motherhood is, well, it's everything. It's amazing, exhausting, overwhelming, and rewarding all at the same time. You can't really describe it until you're in it, you know?
I can only imagine. What's been the most surprising part for you?
Honestly, how much you can love another person. The love you feel for your child is like nothing else. It's instant, unconditional, and it grows every single day. But at the same time, I wasn't prepared for how much motherhood would change me.
How so?
Well, it's not just the daily routine that changes. You change as a person. Your priorities shift completely. I used to be someone who had a long list of things I wanted to achieve each day. But now, sometimes just keeping my baby happy and healthy feels like the biggest accomplishment.
That makes sense. I guess motherhood really puts things into perspective. Do you feel like you've had to give up a lot of your old life?
In a way, yes. I mean, there are certainly things I miss, like spontaneous nights out or even just having time to myself to read a book without interruptions. But at the same time, you gain so much more. Watching my child grow, seeing their personality develop, it's incredible. The trade-off is worth it, even on the hardest days.
It sounds like a huge adjustment, though. Was there anything that really helped you transition into motherhood?
Oh, definitely. Having a strong support system is key. My partner has been amazing. We really try to balance things as much as possible. And I can't forget my friends and family, especially other moms. They've been my lifeline on the days when I just don't know what I'm doing. Honestly, sometimes just venting to someone who understands makes all the difference.
That's so important. I've heard a lot about how isolating motherhood can feel sometimes, even though you're constantly with your baby. Is that true?
It can be, yeah. You spend so much time focused on your baby that you sometimes forget to take care of yourself, or you feel like you've lost touch with the outside world. It's easy to get caught up in the routine feedings, naps, diaper changes that you forget there's a whole world still going on outside of your little bubble.
That sounds tough. How do you manage to stay connected with people?
I try to make time for my friends, even if it's just a quick coffee or a chat over the phone. It helps me feel like myself again, not just mom. And, honestly, joining a mom group really helped. I didn't think I'd need it at first, but talking to other moms who are going through the same things makes a huge difference. We laugh about the chaos and share tips, but more importantly, we remind each other that it's okay to not have it all figured out.
That sense of community sounds amazing. Do you think it's different now compared to when our moms were raising us?
Oh, absolutely. I think our generation has access to so many more resources, books, blogs, social media groups, parenting podcasts, but at the same time, that can also be overwhelming. There's this constant pressure to get it right, and sometimes it feels like everyone has an opinion on what you should or shouldn't be doing.
That must be exhausting. I feel like social media adds a lot of pressure, especially when you see all these moms who seem to have it all together.
Oh, totally. You see these perfect pictures of spotless houses and smiling babies, and it can make you feel like you're falling short. But the truth is, no one's life looks like that all the time. I've had to remind myself that what we see online is just the highlights, not the whole story. Behind the scenes, everyone's struggling with something.
That's such a good reminder. So, how do you handle those tough days when everything feels overwhelming?
On those days, I try to give myself grace. Some days, you just have to lower your expectations. If I manage to get through the day with everyone fed and relatively happy, I consider it a win. And I remind myself that it's okay to take breaks. If the baby's napping, I'll give myself permission to sit down, relax, and just breathe for a moment. It's so easy to feel like you have to do everything perfectly, but the reality is, no one does.
That's a great mindset to have. I can see how taking care of yourself would help you take better care of your baby, too.
Exactly. You can't pour from an empty cup, right? Self-care isn't just about bubble baths and spa days, though those are nice. It's more about doing little things that keep you grounded. Whether that's having a cup of tea, reading a few pages of a book, or even just taking a shower in peace. Those moments matter.
I love that. So, what about your relationship with your partner? Has that changed since becoming parents?
Oh, definitely. You go from being a couple to being co-parents. And that's a big shift. Suddenly, your conversations are about diaper brands and sleep schedules rather than date nights and weekend plans. But we've made it a point to still make time for each other, even if it's just watching a movie together after the baby's asleep. It's so important to stay connected even when life feels hectic.
That makes a lot of sense. It must be tough balancing everything, though.
It is. But I think the key is teamwork and communication. We try to be really clear with each other about what we need. If I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'll ask for help. And he does the same. It's a partnership, and you both have to be in it together.
It sounds like a lot of work, but also really rewarding. What do you think has been the most fulfilling part of motherhood for you?
Watching my child grow and develop without a doubt. Every little milestone feels like a victory, their first smile, their first steps, their first words. You see the world through their eyes, and it's like you're rediscovering everything for the first time. It's magical.
That sounds so beautiful. Have there been any moments that really stood out to you?
Oh, there are so many. But I think one of the most special moments was the first time my baby said mama. It was such a simple thing, but hearing those words for the first time just melted my heart. It made all the sleepless nights and tough days feel worth it.
I can imagine. That must have been an incredible moment.
It really was. And what's amazing is that those moments just keep coming. Every day is a new adventure. Watching them learn, grow, and develop their own personality is just the best feeling.
Do you ever worry about the future? Like how you'll handle the different stages of parenting as your child gets older?
All the time. Each stage brings new challenges, but I think that's part of the journey. Right now, I'm focused on the baby stage, but I know there will be new things to navigate as they grow. I try not to get too far ahead of myself, though. I'm learning to take it one day at a time.
That's probably the best approach. It's easy to get caught up in worrying about the future, but I guess being present is what matters most.
Exactly. I found that focusing on the present moment helps me stay grounded. There's so much joy in the little things like watching my baby laugh at something silly or cuddle up to me after a long day. Those moments are what make it all worthwhile.
It sounds like motherhood has given you a whole new perspective on life.
It really has. You realize what's important, and a lot of the things that used to stress you out seem insignificant now. It's all about making the most of the time you have with your child because they grow so fast. I mean, I can't believe how quickly these first few months have flown by.
I bet. It's amazing how much can change in such a short time. Do you think motherhood has changed the way you see yourself?
Definitely. I feel stronger in ways I never expected. Motherhood pushes you to your limits, but it also shows you what you're capable of. It's made me more patient, more compassionate, and more resilient. But it's also been humbling. There's so much you don't know, and you're constantly learning.
That's such a powerful way to look at it. Do you have any advice for someone like me, who's thinking about becoming a mom one day?
I'd say don't put too much pressure on yourself. There's no right way to be a mom. Every child is different. Every mom is different. Trust yourself, accept that you'll make mistakes, and don't be afraid to ask for help. And most importantly, enjoy the ride.